All right, let's break down one of the biggest, most fundamental ideas in all of computer programming. And you know what? We're going to do it in just a couple of minutes using something you definitely have in your kitchen right now. What if I told you that on some level you already get it? That the basic logic behind writing your very first line of code is something you do all the time without even thinking about it? Sound a little crazy? Well, just stick with me here. So, how are we going to do this? With something I like to call the kitchen jar analogy. As the name suggests, we're going to start with something we all know. Okay, so picture yourself in your kitchen. It all starts with a container, just a plain, simple, empty glass jar. Got it? Now, if you've got a bunch of these jars, you need to know what's what, right? So what's the next logical step? You grab a marker, you slap a label on it, that way you know exactly what's supposed to be in there. And last but not least, you actually put something in it. Maybe it's cookies, maybe it's coffee, whatever. Those are the contents. So let's recap. You have a container, a label on that container, and the stuff inside. Simple, right? Well, believe it or not, that super simple three-step process, container, label, contents, that is exactly how one of the most powerful concepts in all of programming works. So let's see how our little kitchen setup translates into the world of code. See, in the programming world, our kitchen jar has a fancy name. It's called a variable. And the definition? Well, it's pretty much what you'd expect. A variable is just a container that's used to store a piece of information. It's literally the digital version of our jar. And here is where it all clicks. The jar itself, in Python, that's the variable. The label you wrote on it, that's the variable name. And the cookies you put inside, that's just called data. It's a perfect one-to-one match. See, you already understood this. So what does this look like when you actually type it out? It looks just like this. We have our variable name, which is jar, then an equal sign, and then the data, cookies. This single line of code is a command. It's literally telling the computer, hey, create a container, name it jar, and put the word cookies inside. And it's not just for words. Check out this example, quantity equals 10. Same exact idea. We're just telling the computer, okay, new container, name this one quantity, and put the number 10 inside. So the data we store can be text, or it can be a number. It doesn't matter. Okay, you've totally got the main idea. Now, to make sure this really sinks in, there are just two super simple rules you need to remember. Now, this is maybe the most important part. That equals sign, it does not mean equals like it does in math class. In programming, the equal sign is an action. It means assign, or even better, put this inside. It's an instruction, not a question. So let's lock in those two rules. First, assignment. Remember that equal sign is your command to put the data into the variable. Second, naming. You want to use names that actually make sense. I mean, sure, you could call a variable P, but calling it price makes it so much easier for you and anyone else to understand what's going on. All right, you ready to try this for yourself? Let's do a super quick 30-second exercise to put this new knowledge to the test. So, imagine you're making a digital phone book. How would you create one of these variables to hold a friend's name? Just think about the three parts: the container, the label, the contents. How would you write that out? Did you come up with something that looks kind of like this? Friend equals Sarah? If you did, you absolutely nailed it. That's perfect. You just created a variable named friend, and you assigned it the data Sarah. You just thought through your first real line of code. And that really gets to the core of it all. When you strip everything else away, a massive part of what programmers do is just this: labeling containers and putting information inside them. You're just telling the computer where to keep things so you can find them and use them later. These variables, they are the absolute building blocks of everything. And there you have it. That's it. Using a simple kitchen jar, you've just wrapped your head around one of the biggest, most important ideas in all of programming. Every single app, every website, every game you've ever used is built on this simple idea of storing information. You've officially taken your first step. So the only question now is, what are you going to build with it?